So I'm going into story mode now. I've never really told this publicly, and if I get a bit emotional along the way, sorry about that. While this channel mostly focuses on gaming behind the scenes, I'm also an entrepreneur, and honestly, that's the hardest thing I've ever done. The start of eBlaztr wasn't an easy journey. At times, it almost feels like a comedic level timing of events, just one unbelievably happening after another. Let me take you back.
Sige, at vi kommer ikke igennem det her som land, uden at det har omkommet.
If you're Danish, you might recognize the voice in the background. That's the Danish Prime Minister announcing our first lockdowns. And what you see in front of you, that's the very first functioning eBlaztr. At that moment, we were all super excited. We had finally gotten it working. We even had parts ordered for our next batch. At the time, we were doing 3D prints and testing if people actually wanted the eBlaztr. And they did. But we weren't making any money. Build time and small quantity parts ate up everything. Still, we had proof of sales, and in business that's usually enough to get funding. The whole world locked down and months of hard work had been blocked. None of our parts got shipped. We did everything we could to survive. I won't get into all the details, but the GPU shortage, aluminium price surged 300%. And eventually I found myself at a board meeting where everyone had basically given up. It felt like the universe just didn't want eBlaztr to exist. I had one last thing I needed to do before shutting it all down, and I tried to do something, which was to post this to Linus Media Group on Reddit. And then everything went insane. Our website went down because of too many visitors. The post had gone viral. That night I got a Reddit DM from someone claiming to be from Linus Media Group. Of course, I spent the rest of the night checking if this was actually the correct person or if it's just... I was convinced it was a scam. It wasn't. But now I had a new problem. I had to send an eBlaztr to Linus. And I still didn't have any GPUs. And no money for one. Also, I didn't have a manual since we had only sold finished built eBlaztrs at the time. And we were on a deadline because when one of the world's biggest tech influencers asks you for something, you answer. So I shipped the unit immediately, and in lack of any other options, I included a personal note to Linus challenging him to build it without a manual. My idea was to challenge him instead of writing the "sorry, I have no hardware, also I don't have any manual for you." What you saw in the Linus eBlaztr video, that was 100% real. There was no script, no behind the scenes preparation. I had some conversations with a few people from Linus Media Group where I was answering some questions because they had never seen anything like it. And I got in the loop of production at the time. And Linus had just bought a new house. You've probably seen that already. And he had a 5-month backlog of videos. But the team loved the eBlaztr story so much they just sent him the unit with some hardware without telling him anything. And for me, I was working night shift at the time just to survive while I was running this business, so that's probably also why I don't have so much hair anymore. This particular moment created enough momentum to attract our first investors. And that's essentially what allowed us to move to big production with injection molding and full production capacity. So I guess what I'm trying to say is massive thank you to Linus and everybody at Linus Tech Tips, because you didn't just feature a cool new product, you literally saved eBlaztr.